You're watching Color 10 News at 10 in high definition.
A family is relieved tonight to hear authorities think they have solved the 2-year-old murder mystery. Hello again, everybody. I'm David Oliver.
And I'm Ashley Ketz. 25-year-old Jose Huckleberry is charged with stabbing Pastor Don Willingham and Willingham's wife, Helen, to death. The couple was attacked in their Greene County home in April of 2011. Color 10's Kevin Schwaller is here with what we know about the suspect and the Willingham family response.
Huckleberry told investigators she went to the Willingham's home to, quote, rob it. The Willingham family has said the hardest part for them was that people knew the truth but would not come forward. Now, back in 2011, Helen Willingham called 911 pleading for help. She said her husband Don was being assaulted by a man who broke in. Helen dropped the phone, but the 911 operator could still hear the struggle. When emergency crews arrived, both Willinghams had been stabbed to death.
Well, anybody that ever knew him, remember him as a kind, loving people, giving people. Wow, they just do anything for anybody. They loved everybody, and spent their whole life just spreading the gospel, and that was their main goal, and that was their main goal in life, and they succeeded, and they did that.
The family says they have already forgiven Huckleberry and believe their parents would have too. Huckleberry is being held without bond.
Kevin Schwaller at 10 tonight. Thanks. The head of a boys ranch tonight feels sorry for the family of a couple murdered. Suspects, in fact, ran away from that facility. The teens left the Lives Under Construction boys ranch near Lampe, Missouri. Investigators believe they were staying at a home on Trace Hollow Road. That's where Paul and Margaret Brooks of Michigan were beaten and stabbed to death last week. Tonight, the founder of that ranch, Ken Ortman, says he wants the attackers held accountable.
My daughter, my wife is there, and our grandson. The rest are staff and volunteers. I wish that it was a bad dream and it would go away, but it's not. We feel bad. We're sorry for the Brooks family. That's our primary concern, and there is no way to give back those two fine people, and I'm very sorry that happened. Head counts happen all the time. We have 30 plus staff for 18 guys. They're like our own kids. If they weren't, there'd be no purpose in working with them. They mean everything to us. Staff wear walkie-talkies. In the end, it comes down to choices, and sometimes we don't make good choices.
Thank you.
We have seen God perform miracles in many lives that have been here, and we plan to continue working with the same type of guys, and we are expectant to see the same kind of miracles happen in the future.
That ranch, by the way, does not take in children or boys who have been convicted of violent crimes. As for the two teens arrested for those murders in Stone County, prosecutors are still deciding whether to try them as adults. Now, residential treatment facilities like Lives Under Construction provide a safe place for troubled youth. The Good Samaritan Boys Ranch near Brighton is also a state licensed facility that takes in about 80 at-risk boys between the ages of 11 and 19. Most of the boys are pulled out of their homes by the state because of abuse and neglect. The ranch has licensed therapists to help the boys reunite with their family. CEO Kevin Killian says these types of facilities give boys structure and a safe place to build their lives.
And one of the things we really work on here is not allowing that anger to sit and boil and stew so that then they have eruptions where they really act out.
That ranch also does not accept boys with a long history of violent behavior. It does accept state and private funding.
New at 10, an accident shuts down part of Interstate 44 in Springfield tonight. Dispatchers tell Color 10 that accident happened at Kansas Expressway and I-44, and officers are now rerouting traffic to Glenstone Avenue. The extent of the injuries right now aren't known. The Highway Patrol, though, is working a separate crash just a few miles west involving 3 semis. No one was hurt. A registered sex offender is charged with exposing himself at Walmart. Nixa police arrested Roger Robert Estep yesterday. The prosecutor's office charged Estep with sexual misconduct, stealing, resisting arrest, and possession of a controlled substance. Also new tonight, a Texas County man is behind bars charged with trying to meet a teenage girl for sex. 45-year-old Scott Baker was arrested Monday. He's facing charges of enticement of a child and sending pornographic pictures to a minor. Texas County authorities say Baker was texting a 14-year-old girl and wanted to meet her for sex. Now, the girl's mother found the messages and called the sheriff. An undercover deputy then continued texting, and Baker was arrested when he showed up at the victim's home in Kabul.
Also tonight, new at 10 neighbors have a better idea of what Springfield's College Street corridor will soon look like. Tonight, an engineering firm showed off the final plans for the improvements there in the area between Grant and Kansas Expressway. And this includes a Route 66 roadside park.
What we really need then is that private redevelopment coming on these properties and either rehabilitate existing buildings or build new buildings and bring in housing and commerce, and that's what will really make it happen.
By the way, the Springfield City Council has already approved that plan.
New tonight, an Ozark school is closed tomorrow because of illness. It's the Mark Train R8 Elementary that is in Taney County. Nearly 100 fewer cases of the flu, though, were diagnosed in Greene County last week compared to the previous week. The health department's latest update shows 135 people were ill last week. The number was 221 just 2 weeks ago. A spokesperson for the Springfield Greene County Health Department says that number is still significant. For the entire flu season, 1,177 people have tested positive in Greene County. That's the second worst in the past 10 years.
Time to check in once again with Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner. Another nice, quiet day in the Ozarks, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much more to say than that. It's been really nice. Sunshine, light winds, and temperatures which have been well above where they should be for this time of the year. Around 60 again today, 61 officially in Springfield after hitting 60 yesterday, and that's running about 15 degrees above normal for this time of the year. Other areas also hitting 60 is pretty common across much of Missouri. A little cooler in areas like Rolla, where it was 58 today for the high. The warmest readings were down to our south in northern Arkansas, 66 this afternoon in Harrison. Well, under clear skies with relatively light winds out there, it's cooling off. 34 now in Springfield, so look for things to start getting a little frosty out there. We'll start tomorrow morning off as you're getting up around freezing. You'll have to deal with a little frost in the windshield. Otherwise, another beautiful day. Lots of sun throughout the day. Afternoon highs back up around 60. Clouds start rolling in right around evening, and that'll set the stage for wet weather on Thursday. A look at that in your hour-by-hour forecast coming up.
New at 10, over the past 2 days, we've been looking at the toll war can take on the lives of two Ozarks veterans. While their stories are different, they both credit their recovery to the therapy they received at the VA. And as we found out, there isn't a long waiting period, and it's never too late to get help.
Like I say, Dad's got me. It's time to go to sleep.
It's been more than 6 years since Rick Hudson came home from Afghanistan, but his memories of combat are never far away.
If it's a trigger that I haven't noticed, my family members definitely do. And they say, hey Rick, you need to calm down or whatever. And then I automatically know what to do to start calming myself down or get back to my normal state.
The new father now knows how to control his anxiety thanks to a treatment he received at the Veterans Healthcare System of the Ozarks. Holly Billings is a clinical social worker who helps veterans like Rick who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder.
We can't take the experience that you've had and kind of take it away, because this is something that you have experienced, and you have to readjust to that experience.
One of the VA's most successful therapies is called prolonged exposure. It works by exposing veterans to situations they've avoided in real life. It can be as simple as practicing being in a crowd. Anthony Norris is a believer.
They've really turned my progression around. It's night and day, but I had to throw myself into them, and it was extremely hard to get through them.
We had to go to the mall, and he had to talk to people
during the busiest times.
And he had to go during busy times. We had to go to a movie theater, and he couldn't sit in the back row.
For veterans and their families who need immediate support, there is help, confidential help, through the Veterans Crisis Line.
If you are in emotional distress or suicidal crisis or are concerned about someone who might be, we are here to help.
It's as easy as picking up the phone, chatting online, or even sending a text.
If the veterans call that crisis line and they are connected to our VA, we get a report that they have called, so we can provide immediate follow-up after they contact us.
A lifeline that can be life-saving. Since it began in 2007, the Department of Veterans Affairs estimates the crisis line has rescued 26,000 actively suicidal veterans.
The downfall is the soldiers coming in and wanting to come in and realizing there's an issue and seeking that help. Because we can't go out and pull everybody in at the VA.
People do get better. If the veterans come in and they do the work and they follow through with the homework, they do get better and they can recover and go on to have an enjoyable, fulfilled life again.
And even with all of the success of the crisis line, 22 veterans still commit suicide each day. It is a troubling trend, so if you know a veteran or a family that is in need, there are resources out there. We have a list of them on ozarksfirst.com. Just click on the links with this special report.
Ashley, thanks so much. A mother thought her family was eating healthy food until she began reading labels.
We really need to look closer into the things we're eating, and we can do better for our family.
In tonight's Family Matters report, she changed the changes she made to help her community, not just her husband and children.
In tonight's Family Matters report, a mother became frustrated with the unhealthy snack choices for her kids.
Color 10 Shannon Miller shows us tonight how the mom's venting led to healthy vending machines in her neighborhood.
Okay, I'm opening these so you guys can get into them.
Patty Moore knows a thing or two about snacks on the go.
Kids snack, I mean, it's common knowledge. I have 3 kids of my own. I know when they see food, they want it. Do you guys want some orange juice or some
And
green
up
juice,
until
or?
a couple of years ago, she and her husband thought they were eating healthy.
We would do low fat, low carb, whatever the latest trend was. Bye, have a good day. Love you.
But when one of her daughters developed a food allergy, Patty started reading labels.
I mean, high fructose corn syrup, trans fats, just artificial colorings, artificial flavorings, all kinds of preservatives.
That sparked an idea.
Thank you. We had this sort of revelation that, wow, we really need to look closer into the things we're eating, and we can do better for our family. And then it was sort of a greater purpose.
She became a vendor for Human Healthy Vending in August.
I mean, how often do you find a product that only has 2 ingredients? There's cashews and dates. That's it.
The machines sell unprocessed snacks, and they're a big hit. It's a choice that Patty is happy to provide.
My kids will snack, and that's okay. It's okay for them to eat cookies, but if I can recognize a lot of the ingredients in the products they're eating, it makes me feel better.
Good information there. Time to check in once again with Jamie to see how long this warm weather might stick around.
Well, we got at least another day of warm, nice weather, but after that, the rain rolls in. After that storm, will it get cold again going into the weekend? Will we see mild temperatures? Find out your full forecast coming up.
And now weather with Color 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
All right, we're going to be able to squeak out, I think, one more 60-degree day, and then temperatures will take a bit of a slide. Let's go outside right now, and outside we find clear and chilly conditions, 34 kind of night with clear skies and calm winds where you get these pockets of cold, and Springfield happens to be one of those colder spots. Most everybody else actually looking at temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s at this hour. It's a quiet pattern across the United States. You don't have any real big storms, and the next one that's going to move through really isn't a big storm, but it will be our next wet weather maker, currently located in the western U.S. That system will arrive here in the Ozarks on Thursday, but until then, another stellar day. And there's some reasons for that. We found them today, and that is that the Arctic chill remaining well to the north. It's not going anywhere. In fact, it looks like it's going to stay really in eastern Canada over the next week or so. We're going to find sunny skies tomorrow, mild temperatures with afternoon highs around 60 here in Springfield. It will be a bit cooler to the east. We did have a front sneak across the Ozarks today, and a little chunk of cool air sliding into the Ohio Valley, and with winds out of the southeast, that's going to feed some of that cooler air into our eastern counties. So areas like Rolla and West Plains, you guys will see afternoon highs in the upper 50s, but still really a pretty nice day. Let's take you hour by hour tonight. Clear, frosty by morning. Tomorrow during the day, sunny skies will warm temperatures up to around 60. There will be a few clouds trying to sneak in right around sunset. And then overnight, Wednesday night, skies will go cloudy and showers will break out by sunrise on Thursday. So just plan on sort of a wet drive, at least in spots, Thursday morning heading into work. And then during the day on Thursday, we will find showers, especially I think late morning into the afternoon. That looks to be the window when the heaviest rain will move through. And looks like we could pick up anywhere from a quarter to maybe as much as a half an inch of rainfall out of this system. And it is still much needed rainfall before that storm moves on out and we see sunshine returning for Friday. Now, let's take a look at the pattern for the next 5 days. I mentioned the Arctic air is sort of pulled back into eastern Canada, and that's where it's going to stay over the next 5 days. Notice, it really doesn't go anywhere. It kind of hangs out here in eastern Canada. The flow across the U.S. will be more of a zonal or west to east flow, and that's a fairly mild kind of pattern, and that's what we will find going into this upcoming weekend. Temperatures remaining fairly far above normal for this time of the year, but there will be a more potent system coming in as a trough develops into the western U.S. This storm will come through on Sunday, and it will be followed by colder air. But take a look at the colors here representing the temperatures. You get the light blues. This is the Arctic air, the purples and into the whites. So this is colder air, and it'll kind of put our temperatures back to where they should be for this time of the year, but it is not going to be an Arctic blast early next week. Overnight tonight, clear and chilly, 30 for the low, frosty by morning. Tomorrow we'll see lots of sun. Winds are going to be a bit breezier out of the southeast, so it may seem a little bit cooler than today because of that. Temperatures will still remain pretty mild, though, even with clouds and showers on Thursday. Low 50s for highs on Friday. Saturday, partly cloudy and a high of 57, and up near 60 on Sunday with showers and the possibility of thunder. Right now, severe weather chances look really pretty low with this system. But if you are taking a trip down south, maybe towards, say, Mississippi or Louisiana, higher threat for some of the rough stuff down there.
For your day for tomorrow, though, that's for sure.
Certainly.
Jamie, thanks.
Inside it goes to Wilson, who stuffs it.
The Missouri State Bears tipped off a tough road trip tonight at Northern Iowa.
Dan has the highlights plus the news on Chris Carpenter, too. It's all next.
Got 28%.
Here's a look at stock quotes of local interest. Color 10 News will continue in a moment. Now, the Chevy Dealer Sports Report with Dan Lucy.
The Missouri State Bears tipped off a tough two-game Valley road trip tonight in Cedar Falls against Northern Iowa. Both the Bears and Panthers started the game tied for 5th place in the Valley. Ben Jacobson returns 4 starters from last year's 20-win team. Missouri State in front early. Dorian Williams with the 3, 11-7 Bears. Then Anthony Downing off the screen. He would pop this 3, and it was 17-13 Bears. Northern Iowa keeping pace. Matt Bohannon, 3 from the top of the arc. It's a 1-point game. Late first half, the dish to Drew Wilson. He gets the slam dunk, but then he's teed up afterwards for taunting the opponent. Paul Lusk's Bears down 20-19 at halftime. Second half, Marcus Marshall with the jumper. Bears back on top by 1, but the rest of the game would belong to UNI. Jake Cook gets the rock and the dunk, 30-29 Panthers. Then Anthony James from St. Louis drives to the hole. Northern Iowa up 4, then Mark Sonnen. 3 from the corner. Northern Iowa would win 48-37, the 37 points, the least amount of points for a Missouri State basketball team since 1950. In our Razorback Nation report, Arkansas hosting Florida. Gators rolled into the bud, ranked 2nd in the country. Arkansas waiting for them. B.J. Young, deep 3, 43-26 Hogs at halftime. Second half, Florida's Kenny Boynton would drive to the hole, but still down 51-37. Razorbacks then just run him out of the gym for the second half. Pass to Young, slam dunk, 63-40. Then Arkansas with the alley-oop to Cody Clark for the dunk. Razorbacks upset number 2 Florida 80-69. Boys high school basketball tonight. Glendale Kickapoo renewing their Southside rivalry at the O'Reilly Family Event Center. Series tied at 45. Chris Ward with the block. Chiefs take it down to the other end over to Matt Ritter. He knocks down the 3. He finished with 19. Chiefs were up 5-0. Glendale answers with some perimeter work of its own. Brad Dishman from the corner. Glendale within 3. Falcons would later tie it up. The skip pass over to Jared Hood from beyond the arc, and it's 11-11. End of the first half, though, Chiefs would get momentum. Kickapoo moving the ball to Jake Simpson high off the glass, 13-11. Then on the break, Simpson again, and the foul. 3-point play the hard way. Kickapoo wins by 15, 74-59. Cy Young Award winner Chris Carpenter will not pitch for the St. Louis Cardinals this season, and his career is most likely over. The Cardinals making that announcement this afternoon. Carpenter still feeling the effects of the thoracic outlet syndrome, which damaged the nerves around his pitching shoulder and neck. Remember, the 37-year-old had surgery last summer to fix the problem and take away the pain. But the discomfort returned last week when Carpenter had ramped up his pitching in anticipation of spring training. Toronto picked Carpenter in the first round of the '93 draft. He pitched in St. Louis for 9 seasons, winning the 2005 Cy Young, 3 All-Star Game appearances, 2 World Championships. He won 144 games with a 3.76 earned run average in his 15-year big league career. Carpenter was not at today's news conference and is officially on the disabled list. He'll most likely announce his official retirement in the weeks ahead.
He was sad, actually. He was, I didn't see him live. I was talking to him on the phone, but he was definitely teary-eyed And I think he felt like, to some degree, he was letting us down.
There's no manuscript of how you handle the adversity that comes, especially late in your career, and not knowing if you're going to get a chance to do it again. And doesn't make it easy, even if you are prepared. And to have things turn around really quickly on him was hard for him, and still continues to be tough for him to handle.
The architect of Parkview High School's football turnaround is returning to the Ozarks. Republic hired Wes Beechler this morning to take over the Tiger football program. Beechler has spent the last 2 seasons at Nevada. Beechler inherited a down Parkview program that lost his first 24 games under his helm, but then by the time he left, the Vikings were in the playoffs. So he's getting ready to turn around Republic.
All right, Dan, thanks so much.
And we'll be right back.
Here are tonight's winning lottery numbers. Color 10 News will continue in a moment.
That Budweiser Clydesdale that stole the show during the Super Bowl in the hearts of many people lives in Boonville, Missouri.
Her name is Hope. Budweiser got input from thousands of people on Twitter and Facebook to choose the name. Hope was actually born at the Warm Springs Ranch over there in the Boot Heel. The commercial was shot when Hope was just 7 days old. And on that happy note with Hope, we'll say thanks for watching Color 10 News.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.